So 3 days in, what's spring practice been like?
It's been good. It's been good to get back out, be with the guys. We're working all off season just to be out here. I think that, we're coming out every day, we're competing, nobody's slacking. Everybody's, just looking forward to, that game versus Delaware. And we're just, picking each other up. Friendly competition, I like to say. Not killing each other, but making sure everybody's getting good work. So, yeah.
Spring practice means different things to different people. Last year was your first spring practice as a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got a season under your belt. You can work on some different things. What's it like now being a full-fledged receiver in your first spring practice in that role?
Right. So, coming in, played quarterback, then moved to receiver last spring, and playing the whole season, the game, it's much slower now. Going through, and I'm more focused on the fundamentals now. Now that I'm used to the speed of the game, kind of just working on the fundamentals and, working on my leadership skills and just trying to, become a better whole player in general. So, yeah.
What's it like for you kind of coming along with Ty? The receiver and quarterback, both kind of the same experiences, getting your feet real wet last year in your first year and now developing together kind of in your second year.
Right, yeah, coming in, me and Ty, we've always been close, good friends. So being able to, work out, off the field and kind of just always, hang out with each other outside the field. We kind of talked about, football things. Then we get on the field, it's kind of a natural connection. And, seeing him grow, seeing him become the player he is, the leader he is today, I kind of knew that would be that way. And I kind of feed off him, he feeds off me. And I think we're all just getting each other better. Yeah.
You were kind of the human highlight reel last year with that reverse. How did that all evolve? That play that even when you did it the first game and had such success, you kept having it even though teams knew that you're going to do it.
So I think the thing with the reverse is you never knew when it was really going to come, And I think because teams never knew when it was really going to come when I was in the game, that kind of gave it, it was like mystery. But, every time if I can make that end guy miss, it would be free open field. So just kind of making the first guy miss or, having that wide open field and making more guys miss, that was the key. But next year, hopefully I can get another one to the house maybe. Yeah.
What have you seen with Ty coming into this second spring camp, a year of being a starter now? What do you see with him out here in these practices?
He really is like a general. He's a leader. He has a stronger voice. He understands, the plays more. He knows every defense. The game slowed down to him. He points out stuff that, I don't even see sometimes. And he just, overall, has that voice to where everybody's listening to him, everybody's looking up to him, respecting everything he says.
How's your comfort level?
I feel really comfortable. I think that for me, it's less about, how fast I'm going, because sometimes in the game, you get going and you're like, oh man, like it's a lot. But I think for me, it's the mental part that I still need to sharpen up. Just little details every day in practice, working on, whether it's, cutting a certain way, the way I'm cutting, driving. So just little receiver things that maybe I hadn't worked on before because I played quarterback, just kind of picking it up more, the details in the off season.
Does it help you being a receiver, having that perspective of a quarterback, knowing what you wanted from your receivers when you were a quarterback?
Yeah, so being a receiver, I'm always, looking at the defense beforehand, just like the quarterback, having an idea of, what they're lining up in, and kind of, the play we're running. It helps me understand, okay, this is what I need to do at receiver to make this play successful. Makes the game way easier and, like I said, slows it down way more once all the players on defense, what they're doing.
What's it like being a local guy, playing football in the shadows of the Naval Academy and growing up in Baltimore?
It's awesome. I was lucky to, play with Evan Falkman, and then Zach Abey also went to my high school. So kind of looking up to them guys, and then being local, having my family come to the game, and then others rooting for me around the area. It's nice. It's just strapping it up and playing with my guys, and then having friends and family come out to support me, and it's easy for them to come out. So I've always enjoyed that.
And what does it mean to you to have people back in Middle River look at you and say, wow, he's representing us at the Naval Academy?
Right. I just hope, that guys, if, they're playing, they might not be getting looks. I hope they understand that as long as you work hard, even coming from a small town like Middle River in Baltimore County, it doesn't matter. You can, if you put in the work, put in the effort, you'll get to where you want to be.
What's your biggest goal to bring out of spring practice?
I think my biggest goal is to just be more of a leader. Definitely just keep crafting my wide receiver skills and overall just developing a better work ethic. So, when it comes game time, I'm prepared more.
Spring practice comes after spring break. What'd you do for spring break?
Spring break, I went to Miami for a couple of days with my father, and then after that, I had to go relax and just chill with the fam. So it was good. It was good to, kind of get off campus and enjoy the kind of civilian life. But it's good to be back and be with the guys again.
Well, enjoy the rest of spring practice and look forward to talking to you in the fall.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Jayden, just a few more quickly. You said you want to work on some skills. What specifically are the skills you want to work on?
Right. So as far as my skills, kind of more my feet. So when you're playing receiver, every cut you make, it has to be decisive, has to be sharp, because the DBs that we're playing, they're very skilled and they're used to playing teams that are always passing a lot. So making sure that my pass routes are like, they're decisive and I'm not wasting any time in and out of my break. And also just being, I'm kind of, a bigger receiver. So as far as like, strength wise, obviously not height, but working on my blocking skills, that's always something, because, we run the ball a lot. So making sure that I'm have my hands right, making sure my feet are right, eyes, that's a big thing that Coach Nema always talks about. So making sure that's right too.
And lastly, fans know you're good at the reverse. You're a former quarterback. You're a local guy. What else do you want alumni, fans, people to know about you?
I would want fans, alumni to know that although I'm like playing receiver now, I feel like I could always play any position. Like when I'm out here, I want to be on kickoff, punt return, because it's all about what can I do for the team. Big team, little me. That's what we're about. So I like to think of myself like a Swiss Army knife. Like I can pretty much do it all. So yeah.
First things first, how's spring practice going for you?
Going pretty well. Excited that we're finally back in shoulder pads and everything, and starting to play more, like real football, I guess.
And then just for you, what are your goals for spring football? What are you trying to work on and improve both on the field and off?
On the field, first of all, playing the new position, D tackle. I want to really learn and master that. It's pretty similar to nose guard, but there certainly some unique things about it. I think the adjustment's been fine. That's the main focus. Second one, stay injury free, be able to get good conditioning, be able to practice hard and prepare for the season. Off the field, eligibility, grades up. That's not a problem, and hopefully it won't ever be. That's the main focus. Continue to do well in school.
And last for me, how did this position change come about? Did you ask the coaches, or did they convince you to switch?
No. So I guess the reasoning behind it was they wanted to get, kind of even out the front with the most, I think, ability on the field at the same time with Biscuit playing nose, or me tackle, and Jacob Busick at end. I think that would maximize our ability to, put pressure on the quarterback, stop the run, and, anchor the defense.
Thank you.
Scott Wyckoff.
Yeah, Clay, what was the key to you breaking through last season? When was it that you realized that you had taken it up another notch where you'd really be a contributor?
Spring around this time last year. That was my first time playing that position. I'd never played nose guard before, so I was pretty much, on the job training with that, learning on the fly, which was fine. I had a lot of fun playing it, and it really, I think, especially the defensive line, those positions and the interior, those positions are really where we talk about the elite eat your effort, attitude, toughness. I mean, it's probably the toughest place you can play on the field, in my opinion. But I think being able to, be resilient, open to learn, and really being kind of, I guess, determined in your, pursuit of the play.
What does it mean to you to be able to kind of share this defensive line with two of your classmates that were regulars last season and look to be there with you this season.
It's pretty special. That's something I really take a lot of pride in, is that our class, we have lots of guys coming and starting and contributing on both sides of the ball, especially the defense. The way it worked out, our senior class is not insanely large, and that's fine. I'm glad that it's going to force us to step up and take more of a leadership role and be the ones on the field, making it happen.
Also, how important is it to have Will and Colin and guys like that at linebacker to really draw attention and sometimes maybe take some of that pressure off of you, or for you to take on some of the pressure to free them up?
It means the world, really. Will, he's one of my best friends, and Colin, they all do a great job, directing us around, with certain calls at the line where we have to, audibles basically. And also, they can kind of cover up, some of our mistakes too. And, it works both ways. So it's really great when you have a unit that is able to do that and really complement the other. And I think we have that at the linebacker.
And what position did you come to Navy originally playing?
I was recruited as a defensive end.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure.
Wags.
Well, you mentioned about the positions being similar, but they are different. Can you describe maybe in more detail how the tackle position is different from nose guard? Obviously, you're not a totally interior, but sometimes you're covered up if the Raider comes up on the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing that stuck out to me and that I noticed, especially yesterday in practice, first time going live, when I'm on the read side, or basically the play is going away from me, is what that means. A lot of time a pulling guard or tackle will try to come and knock me out of the box, so I have to spill that, which means just getting inside of them, making the ball bounce outside, and playing on the quarterback. So I have to kind of decide and read the exchange between the quarterback and the fullback or running back, and that determines what I do. And it involves more, I guess, patience than I would say than playing nose guard, versus you think of that as more like a just kind of full steam ahead bull rush type of thing, or at least that's how I would simplify it.
So did you get any game reps at tackle last year?
No, I've never played defensive tackle.
Okay. And so, do you feel like you're going to need the entire spring and maybe even into the August camp to really fully adjust to it, or do you think it'll be pretty seamless?
I think it's been pretty seamless so far. I'm happy with how practice went yesterday and continuing to grow and work on that. Of course, there'll be things to smooth over, but I think overall the transition will go very well.
Talk about your relationship with Pat Skalniak from midfielder on the lacrosse team.
Yeah, so Pat, he is a year ahead of me. He went to NAPS, so he was born on Okinawa a year before I was. His father served in the Marine Corps with mine, and we were stationed there together for a few years. And our families stayed in touch. His mother is really good friends with mine, and we see them here and there. I'd say some frequency, especially now that we're both here going to games. I've known him my entire life. So.
And wasn't Pat in Mississippi at a time too with you?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. So it's in Okinawa. Is
yes,
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I actually did not know that. Glad I asked.
You're from Oxford, Mississippi, and there's another guy from Oxford, Mississippi, and you're great on the team, John Meager. What can we know about him? What's your relationship like with him?
No, so John Marr and I moved to Oxford in 7th grade, and he was one of the first people I know. We're actually neighbors. He still lives, probably like half a mile up the road from me in our neighborhood. But he was the quarterback of our high school team. I also played tight end in high school, so I caught passes from him, blocked for him. I've known him, since middle school. I know he got recruited here to play quarterback, and he's kind of projected to the safety position. Like I know a lot of guys do. I believe Kevin Brennan did the same. It's fairly common here, and he's playing safety now. But his father actually and brother played football here as well. Connery, his older brother, graduated class of 18, I believe.
Does coming from a military family in the history that your family's had, has that helped you adjust at all to the experience at the Naval Academy?
I would say so. Maybe for others who didn't have that background, it was maybe kind of a culture shock or a surprise. I'd say for me, it was a uniform, haircuts, shaving. I grew up around that. Honestly, every day I'd see Marines and sailors, you know, doing their job. I grew up around it my entire life. That's basically what I wanted to do my entire life, is to be a Marine officer. So no, that was not a surprise, and I think it did help me a lot with kind of managing your attitude towards things here as well.
And for the new position, I see you're listed on the depth chart at 292. What's the goal for your weight to play at during the season, and how is that going to get to that?
Yeah, it's right around there. I was 294 this morning, so Coach Hall and I talked about last year. 290 was a goal weight, so I'm confident I'll meet that for sure, and that's right around where I'd like to play. I think that's big enough and still be able to maintain some speed.
You still have Jarius Warren around to ask advice about the tackle position and maybe learn from him. Have you done that, Clay?
Yes, as soon as I found out I was playing tackle, he was the first guy I went to. Me and Jay have a really good relationship that we built through this past season, being able to play together, being on the field at the same time, all the meetings, workouts. We've really, gotten a lot closer, and I'm always bouncing stuff off of him. He was, like I said, the first guy I went to, just trying to learn the basics of the position. And couldn't say enough good things about Jay. He was a really good leader for the team and the defensive line as well. I'm really thankful that he's still around.
And is it nice that you still have Coach Hall as your position coach? If things had been the same as last year, you would have had a new coach and Coach Downing. But the way things work out, you got the same guy.
Coach Hall, he still coaches the defensive tackles, but yeah, I'm really glad to be able to stick with Coach Hall, because I know some guys who have moved around. It's just building a different relationship, and I'm glad that we have that history and we're continuing to work together. I think he's a great coach, and I've certainly learned just about football in general a tremendous amount from him. Like I said, last year, never played nose guard before. Now I'm playing tackle for the first time. I mean, I can't give enough credit to him for everything he's helped me do, and that's probably an understatement. I mean, I think he's phenomenal.
Why don't we start with the topic we just hit? We just interviewed Clay Cromwell about moving to D tackle. Maybe you could expound on why you all thought he would be a good choice to move to that position. You had other guys who were already D tackles. I know you're trying to get the best players on the field, and you feel like he and Biscuit together would make a nice tandem. But why? Talk a little bit more about the reasons for moving Clay to tackle.
Coming out of last year, there were some things within the defense that we felt like we could do a better job at coming out of our, our self-scouting and those things. And when you look at Clay, he's about, 6'3", 6'4". He's 290 pounds, but the thing that's really exceptional about him is he can run. When you track him on a GPS, he's up. He can easily be a 15 miles per hour guy at 290 pounds. And when you have that, that with what we do on defense, he's he was the guy for that spot going into spring.
So he talked a little bit about the differences between the two positions. As a coach, what is the most important things you're trying to instill in Clay, that this is how playing D tackle is different than nose guard? He said it's a little more read, react, whereas nose guard, you're just trying to get upfield, make things happen. Could you maybe tell us from a coach's standpoint how you feel the position is different and how he'll have to adjust?
Yeah, well, it's really exactly what he said. When you, at the nose guard position, we tell those guys, just go get up the field, knock guys back and make plays in the backfield. When you look at the defensive tackle position, it's more assignment driven, with our zone pressures and things of that nature. Whereas, you may have your responsibility may be the dive, in the zone read, or your responsibility may be the quarterback in the zone read, depending on the defense. So that's some of the major differences, right there from that position. Just being able, it's more assignment driven, more so than the nose guard position.
Well, obviously, you had two solid nose guards last season. You could, if you had to spell biscuit, you knew Clay was going to give you good reps. But now you've got to develop some depth. And I would imagine you wouldn't have moved Clay if you didn't feel you had some decent fellows behind Biscuit at nose guard. Can you talk about, the competition to become the backup behind Biscuit and what you're seeing out of those guys?
Yeah. So we've had 3 days, 3 practices thus far, but I was able to see a lot, out of a guy like Nolan Barber and Bryson Greer. I was able to see those guys during our 4-quarter program under Coach Fitz, lifting, running, watching those guys grow, watching them get stronger, watching them get quicker, faster. And I know like those 2 guys, has a chance. We got to bring them along here in spring practice. But I've been pleased at what they've been doing thus far in the off season, and I do believe they're going to continue to grow and get better and be able to play for us.
So with regard to Biscuit, he's had a lot of experience. He's played a lot of ball over the last 2 seasons, but I'm sure he's not a finished product. He's only a rising junior. He's got 2 more seasons. Probably sky's the limit for him. How can Biscuit get better? What are some of the things you're telling him? Here's what you can work on to raise your game.
He's getting stronger, and that was one of the key focal points going into this off season. How much strong can you get? Because we going through COVID, and those things, you haven't had the opportunity like most would have during his young career. But how strong can you get to be able to take on some bigger players, down the middle, and also your knowledge of the game. Can you raise your IQ? Can you get better at the blocking schemes that you're going to face? Can you get better at what the man beside you, is doing within the scheme of the defense? Because ultimately, it's going to help you do your job. Those are the things that with him that we're trying to take to the next level. And
behind Clay at D tackle, I believe Max Musin is listed 2 on the depth chart going into spring camp. But, obviously Jarius got most of the reps at that position last season. I don't know. Is there anybody returning on the roster that's actually played D tackle in the game for Navy?
No, not other than Max Musin. No. And that's what's making it so fun right now, because we have so many young players who's very talented and young players that are hungry to be able to get on the field. There's Michael Whitehouse, there's Mike Petroff, John Brand, RJ Davis. There's some guys that we got at defensive tackle, that are talented, and they play very hard. We just got to bring them along. But I'm excited about that group.
And last for me, before I hand it off, you're now, you have been coaching the tackles and the guards. That's right. I keep forgetting that it's Downing's position that's been changed. Is that, on that note, what's it like to start working with? Aren't you doing the ends now? Are you doing all whole defensive line?
Yeah, defensive.
Yes,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I think in your career you coached all 3 positions before. What's your thoughts on that? It's a little increased responsibility.
No, it's exciting. It really is. It's exciting to have the whole room back again. Being able to to teach some things that I've been teaching guys, for years and years, and they've been able to pick up, on some of the verbiage, that I use, getting used to my coaching style. It's been awesome thus far, and it's been exciting. I'm looking forward to being with this group, because we got a really good group, some guys that really want to get out there and play football, and I can't wait to see how they develop.
Thanks, Coach. It was great to see you.
Thanks. Good to see you too, Wags.
All right, let's go to Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, what does it mean for you this season to have the full recruiting class of the time that Coach Newberry's been here, to have players that have been recruited to fit the type of defensive line that he likes to have?
Oh, it's it's good to see. You know, it really is. You know, all the moving and grooving, you know, that we do, the blitzing, you know, that's what these guys were recruited for. You know, and it's good to see our style, you know, out there, you know, on the field, you know, and talking about, you know, elite eat, you know, effort, attitude, and toughness. You know, those are the types of guys that we try to recruit. And you turn on the tape in high school and you see them, you know, just relentless effort, you know, with a motor. You know, that's the type of guys that we have, you know, here in the program, you know, and that's why the off season, you know, has been the way it is. You know, we got a long way to go with the guys that we have, but the future is bright.
Part of that future, Jacob, what makes Jacob so good? Is it just his pure athleticism matched with his uncanny size?
Well, one thing is tough. You know, he's a tough kid, and I love coaching him. He's talented. He has the size. You know, he has the length. This off season, he's been working on his strength, and we had practice yesterday, and I was able to see for the first time, you know, that he has gotten stronger. He's going to get you know, stronger as we go along, and he's getting more smarter as far as understanding you know, the schemes, you know, and where he needs to fit within the defense. And that's what's making him have a lot of success right now.
And does it really take a defensive lineman a full season of the reality of playing a Notre Dame, a Houston, a Cincinnati to know what that really is like? You can look at the film, but to play that type of offensive line?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. The defensive line is a developmental position. You know, you just don't all of a sudden be a really good player overnight. You know, it takes reps in the meeting room. It takes reps, you know, out on the football field. It takes mentoring and all those things. And when all those things come together and the light comes on, then you got a pretty good product.
And finally, how important has the defensive line play over the last few years been to the success of a Diego Fagot, the way that linebackers are able to play in this defense?
Well, the first and foremost on the D line, you got to be selfless. You know, you can't be a selfish player. You know, if you're a selfish player, that's when you're going to see a lot of holes, you know, in the run game. So our guys, you know, what they pride themselves on doing their job. And if they are commanding a double team, all right, and their Mike linebacker, all right, is in the backfield making a football play, that's just as good for them than making that tackle for loss themselves. And when you got a group, and our entire group is like that. And when you got a group that's like that, it's gonna lead to a lot of success on your defense.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
Phil Bergman.
Everything's been asked mostly, so just Coach, one more for you. Coming up in the fall, your son Aiden's going to be joining the team. Just what's that moment going to be like for you to get to have your son on the team?
It's going to be awesome. We can't wait. You know, we can't wait. You know, I can. There's a lot of conversations that's going on over the dinner table about that. You know, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. And I think Coach Nehemiah had talked about this earlier during a recruitment visit. You know, and so like we're out there and we're in a drill, a one-on-one drill. You know, and Aiden's up. You know, am I going to be coaching Aiden too? You know, and that type of thing as well as my line. So no, it's good. It's exciting, and he's excited. You know, so I can't wait to get him up here and keep him under my wing for another 4 years. You know, I know, you know, fathers don't get a chance to do that. You know, but and I do, and I feel blessed to be able to have that opportunity.